Hey, what is up, guys? First time doing one of these episodes actually via Zoom, so this is pretty cool. If you see me fidgeting with the mic, everything, just feel free to comment down below. Um, but if you guys are listening, I want to first off say thank you. This is kind of always my weekly appreciation, real quick, is kind of just thank you for listening, watching, reviewing, subscribing, tagging, supporting, screenshotting, sharing, everything. Really, I appreciate every single thing that you guys as my listeners do for this show. It's pretty cool what I'm able to do. I got some things in store for you guys because I just want to make it better and make it bigger. And I have a plan. And I got some cool people on the ride with me that I'm going to be taking with this. And I had a discussion yesterday with Kenny and Sarah Lipton, and this one was pretty cool. Really, really cool. I can't wait to release that episode. It's probably going to be a long time, but the anticipation for that episode will just be steaming up, and I couldn't be more hyped for you guys to hear that episode. And one thing that Kenny and Sarah brought up, which was really interesting, was kind of the self-made suffering in the gym is because we have a passion for what we do. And that's one level of suffering. That's self-induced. But you are doing that because to be willing to suffer in the gym is to be willing to take your body and your mind to the next level. And then this is also off my coach, Mark, who shared a post the other day where he talked about going on low carb to really get into shape for a show. And that's another level of suffering. That one is to suffer to not only beat your best look ever, it's to be the best look you've ever had, to beat the competitors on stage, to go that extra 0.1% to win a show. There's that level of suffering. And then there's something that I came to a conclusion yesterday about during that episode. And man, you find purpose within that suffering. And like I said, there's levels to it. So there's self-induced. There's other people putting the suffering on you. You're suffering at the hands of other people. There's multiple facets to this so-called suffering. But you find your purpose within suffering. And it took me, what has it been now? 6 years, almost 6 years since this suicide attempt. And that was the ultimate level of suffering. And it's hard. Like I mentioned, you guys will listen to the episode when it comes out. It'll be a lot longer than when this releases, but it's hard to describe that traumatic moment to someone to really notice all the years and years that I suffered through things that people witnessed that didn't say a single thing. People that claim they didn't know when it was pretty easy to tell. But you know what? It wasn't easy to tell too, because I hid it pretty well. There's a so-called Band-Aid when you go through this suffering that at least I went through, and each person has their own experience through this type. There's some sort of traumatic moment that changes everybody's life. And that's what led me down to wanting to commit suicide, is that the Band-Aid that covered up so many wounds was ripped off. And what was that Band-Aid? Well, the Band-Aid was always looking forward to a better day. Always trying to make other people happy. Always trying to have a smile on my face. Always trying to think that the next day it's not going to happen. It's, excuse me. It's really hard to just keep covering up. And what is a Band-Aid? It doesn't fix an issue. It's like I just mentioned, it covers it up, protects it from further damage. There's only so much a Band-Aid could do. It's like you get a knife cut. Oh, you're going to put a Band-Aid on it? No, you need stitches. Band-Aid's only going to go so far. It will get you to the hospital, but it won't get you to recover the right way. And that day back in January of 2017 was not 2017, man. January 17th. I'm getting my years mixed up. Back in that year, I'm trying to word this right. You just think, how much can one person take? And this is truly when you find your purpose, is, looking back on everything that I've gone through the past 5.5 years now. It's cultivated in my purpose. And this is a cool one that I want to get into. Enough about my story. I'll relate it later. But when you look at why was my coaching created? My coaching was created because I want to help people get out of a place where I was suffering from not being good enough, of not being who I truly could become, wanting to take myself, my mindset to the next level, while also taking my body there too as well. And I think I'm doing that with the clients I have now. Those 5 clients I have are killing it. Their mindsets are shifting. Their outlooks on life are shifting. Their bodies are shifting. They find purpose in going to the gym and going through those hard sets, those suffering moments. And they are developing into different people than they were when they started. And it's so cool to see. It's so cool to see. But reverting back to the moment, also, why was this podcast created? This podcast was created because from those events I've gone through in the past 5 years of wanting to share a story of a kid from small town PA, that just wants to see if I can impact one person. And I found my deeper purpose doing these 2 things, the coaching and the podcasting. And what's the one thing that they both have in common? They come from the suffering. And like I mentioned, it took me 5 years now to realize it, that suffering was my purpose. Without that, what would this be? I say that so many times on this podcast. Without going through those traumatic events, without going through the anxiety, the bullying, the suicide, the alcohol, all those things, wondering, man, am I really living up to my true potential? I found my purpose within that, and it took a lot of self-reflection. And it's a challenging thing because, like I've mentioned before, you have to go back into those moments to truly reflect upon it. And it's really dark. It's really lonely. You have to be strong-willed. You have to be prepared for what's going to come. And you have to just let it come out and reflect. And that's why I also recommend journaling this, is because putting it out on paper makes it seem easier to comprehend than just having it stay in here, stay in your mind, looking at what truly happened in my life, because it's a dangerous thing to go back in there, because it just brings out so much hate and so much anger when you really want to be surrounded by love and happiness. But I love that I went through that suffering. I say it all the time, I'm grateful for the events. Like I just mentioned, I love it because I wouldn't be able to impact the lives I have in the way that I have without going through that suffering. And that's my purpose. And my purpose is to help people who've been through the same things or similar situations in any part of their life. Try to touch them on that one little aspect of their life that they went through where they didn't feel they were enough. But in reality, you help them look back upon that and realize that that moment was that one true moment that led them down this road to who they are today, which is it's a very profound feeling when you help someone get there. And my purpose one day is to actually do that. I don't know if I've done it through this podcast, through the coaching. I don't know. It's up to the listeners. It's up to my clients. It's up to them. But it's just so interesting to kind of see what true suffering can do. And why maybe seeking more help too with that instead of putting a Band-Aid on. Because like I mentioned before, the Band-Aid only protects so much. And you know what it does? It builds up. Get another cut here. You get another cut there. Metaphorically, guys. But it all builds up. You only have so many Band-Aids, and then one rips off and exposes everything. Just one. And then they all come off. And that's where that person really changes. And that's where I changed. And like I mentioned, how hard it is to get this deep. It is. This is difficult for me to make. But it needs to be done because I've been inspired the past few days over what is true suffering. And, I highly recommend you guys read the book Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. Because you find he goes over this, he went through way worse suffering than many, many, many people in this world, including myself. And through his suffering in the Holocaust, he found his meaning in life. But it came from that suffering. So I kind of want to leave everybody today with a challenge for you guys. It's the start of the week. Yes, I know this isn't the most positive, most motivational thing that I've created. Recently, I've just been creating content that has motivated people on a Monday. But fuck that. I want to challenge you guys. I want to challenge you guys to this week. Take some time and just reflect on, you know, kind of meditate or take some time to reflect on maybe a moment of suffering that really transformed it and why maybe it helped you lead down the road that you are on now and maybe how it helped you find your purpose in life and what you want to do, because there's always that one significant event that changes everybody's life forever in a way that they find their way of impacting the world, whether they're 15, 32, 50, doesn't matter. Everybody goes through that one moment. And I challenge you to find that one moment for you and write it out and reflect and just like that. Literally just silence, just let it speak its own mind. Let it flow. Just let it do what it needs to do, because that's how I found the brain works best. Is just let it do what it needs to do and it will figure itself out. So, guys, and gals, thank you for listening to this episode. Or if you're watching on YouTube, first one solo. Would love to know what you guys think of the YouTube. My Instagram is down below. If you guys enjoyed this episode, I appreciate if you guys tag me, screenshot, share it on Instagram, or share it with your friends. Send it to someone. Send it to someone who may need it, because you never know who does need to hear it. And you never know what someone is going through. And maybe they are suffering. And maybe listening to this will help them find a purpose within that. So, thank you guys for listening to this episode of the Monday Sit Down with Anthony. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, I guess, to the YouTube as more videos are going to be posted. All of it's slowly turning on to Zoom and everything. So I'll be getting more content with my guest on air. Some episodes I don't have access to video. So some are going to be, it depends on the week, but I'll hopefully be getting more episodes to you guys with this. Don't like to shout out things, but if you want, my coaching application is down below. I'm with Morphogen Nutrition, so my code's down below if you want to use it. Code SPADA for 10% off. If you guys want to sign up for coaching, definitely go fill out that link, because this is where I truly shine with my coaching, is this right here. So that's what I'm going to leave you with. That's the challenge for the week. Let's see if you can hold up to that challenge. All right, everybody. Thank you so much.